Hey again, it's me. It's T. There's a mirror in the background. I'm telling you that because my sister says that it distracts her from my videos. I know I have to get a little more professional about these things, but for now, ignore it when you see it. My other sister complained about the chair that it was looking good, so I put a robe on it. So I'm good now. Um, Today is Wednesday, I think. Wednesday or Thursday, but um, it's been the lowest day of the week so far. I can't say why. I That's just the nature of the illness. Um, I'm putting on a good face for the recording because I don't want to sound all dreary and drab. You know how I really feel. Because then nobody'd watch it, and maybe nobody would gain from it. But I wanted to talk specifically today about a phenomenon called derealization. Now, there's a lot of uh, versions of derealization I've come to discover. So, what derealization is, I got a definition here from Wikipedia. Says that derealization is an alteration in the perception or experience of the external world, so that it seems unreal. Other symptoms include feeling as though one's environment is lacking in spontaneity, emotional coloring, and depth. It's a dissociative symptom of many conditions, including severe stress, trauma, depression, and anxiety. So, in a nutshell, it makes you feel like you're not living in your own present self or in your own present world, at least with the derealization that I have been experiencing throughout my life. So, derealization came to me pretty much from day one that I've been on medications. There have been some medications that made it worse, some medications that, you know, made me forget about it for a while, but then realize that I still have it. Derealization is not fun. It's very, it's hard to think, it's hard to feel like you're watching yourself from outside, and it may sound like a cool, mental trip. It's not. It can be debilitating. It is. It can be crushing, and especially when you have to battle morbid thoughts. When you're trying to convince your brain that's trying to kill you, not to kill you, then you have this gonna use the word existential, but I'll just say this feeling of being external and not really being in the mix of things and of your own life and of yourself. Then you start to feel a little less appreciative of being even alive, to be honest with you. And that to me tends to bring about a feeling of, or a greater feeling of, well, you know, whatever happens to me happens, kind of thing. And um, do you know that I thought this was something in my hair? And I realized that it was gray hair since the first video. Anyway, um, the realization is an extremely prolific symptom. I've watched many videos on it. I've read many articles on it. My doctor has, explained it to me in different ways, and uh, to tell me exactly what I was experiencing, because I didn't know there was a name for it even. Um, this round of medication doesn't have so much of an effect on me in terms of derealization, but it's something that's perpetually there. I've come to accept that it's part of my life now, and I mean, would I not? Would I like to not have it? Yeah, but I would also like to not be depressed. You know, I don't know if it'll ever go away. There's another awful thing that people on medication can tell you. It's called brain zaps, but I'm not gonna go into that today because that has its own episode waiting. That's some that I can't tell you which is worse. I can't tell you which is worse. But with respect to derealization, I've had to do a lot of cognitive battling of, you know, mental battles to bring myself into a point of acceptance that I'm gonna have to deal with this. I'm gonna have to live with it. If you're experiencing it, if you experienced it in a way that's different from what I explained, uh, comment comment on it. Tell us about it. If you want to talk about your own experience with realization, I'm urging you to take part in it. I'm 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 urging you all to take part in this conversation. These conversations, uh, not for my sake, certainly, and also certainly not for the sake of profiting from anything in that respect, outside of the fact that you never know, maybe someone else's perspective might help another person, might help me, might help you. My perspective might help you. I don't know. I just want us to talk about it because I don't really have, other than my wife, I don't have anyone, and one of my sisters. Um, I don't have anyone I can really sit down and chat with without having to explain things from ground zero, and who can who can understand when I use terms and when I say that this I'm feeling this way now, and then 3 seconds from now I'm feeling that way, and have the person not understand. The three people, my doctor, my my wife, and one of my sisters who I talk to about this in particular often, and two of my aunts who I keep in the loop in terms of my daily, how I feel on a daily basis. I did promise you I would show you the chart that I made up. So I'm thinking, not this one. I'll show you in the next one, and you know, so derealization is a thing. It's real. Okay, that's a terrible okay, derealization is real. Derealization is real. Um, but you can deal with it, and there are cognitive ways of dealing with it. Um, I personally have never done any sort of cognitive training to fight it. I just dealt with it. I just lived with it. Um, Eventually, it feels as if I get accustomed to it, but it still doesn't feel good. I want to be out of that. I want to feel like I'm living in the now, in the present, and inside of myself. I don't know if you can imagine how hard it is if you've never experienced it, but if you have, if you found a way to handle it, to deal with it, share it with the rest of us. Keep that that door of potential help open for everyone. That's the purpose of this channel. It's the only reason I'm on YouTube, um, and not just making these documenting my you know what do you call these things, video log of my diary-ish kind of thing. It's not meant This is meant for me alone. It's meant for everyone else out there, and it's not just meant for people who know me to understand how I feel. It's meant to encourage more people with similar illness to take part and rejoice in life, and find help, and find peers, and know that you're not alone, and you don't give up on it at any point, in any way, and reach out. Let's talk to each other. uh, so with that said, that's just about 10 minutes. I'm gonna try to keep them under 10 minutes until the next video. It's me, it's T. Thanks for listening. I pray for you. You guys pray for me. Next time.